Okay, so in the last video, I briefly discussed the 5-element theory in Shamanic Qigong and how you can use Qigong to literally, quite literally, infuse the esoteric mental and emotional aspects of our being into your physiology, which means that if you have blockages inside your internal organs, okay, so the liver holds the negative emotion of anger and frustration and irritability when our plans don't go according, when the world doesn't meet our expectations. The stomach and spleen have worry and overthinking. This happens when our intentions aren't flowing correctly and we can't digest our thoughts and emotions and we get stuck overthinking and worrying about things. And how we can actually use Qigong, specific movements which use the meridian and the physiology of the body to reprogram those organ structures, which are like batteries for the body, the organ batteries to produce the energy that you want in the direction you want, so that you can actually, as a clear conduit, project your energy and your intentions and your thoughts and your dreams and your ambitions and your willpower out into the world the way you want, so you can manifest the things that you want to see happen in your life. Right, so in this video, what I'm going to briefly discuss is, again, from the 5-element theory, but I've drawn it a little bit different this time. Now, I hope you can see this. We have fire at the top, and I've drawn a crown. It's not actually flame. It's actually meant to be a crown, right? Because it's the emperor, or the king, or royalty, I should say. We live in a non-gendered society now, so this is royalty. At the top, we have metal on the side. We have water at the bottom. We have wood over on the other side. And in the middle, we have earth. So this is actually a classic representation of the 5 elements. They use this in Chinese medicine. And what they do is, just like in the last video, and if you haven't watched the last video, scroll just down in the screen. You're going to find it, where I'm going to talk a lot more about the 5 elements. I go really quite deep into the different emotions and the positive virtues of these organs. Of course, we'll go into more depth in the Shamanic Qigong course. We're going to rip these apart week by week. We're going to talk all about, like, say, what the earth is about, where you get to really investigate where you're worrying, where you're overthinking, where you're indulging in the negative emotions, how you can use your intention and attention better to pull yourself out of this. We're going to look at the different physical symptomology, how you may be having signs and symptoms physically from a Chinese medical perspective of dysregulation of the stomach and spleen, and how this might be affecting your body. How you might be getting bloating, how you might have constipation, diarrhea. You might have a really heavy, foggy head and you can't even think properly. All signs and symptoms of your earth element being out of regulation. And how the Qigong actually helps you regulate that. And so you can think clearly because your mind's nice and clear. You've digested old thoughts and emotions through your body. You're no longer worrying and overthinking about things. Things are allowing you to use your intention and use your attention on things in the world so that you can work correctly. Okay, so I talked all about that in the last video. So if you want to watch that, it can be good before watching this one. But let's move ahead, right? So what the Chinese said is that fire, which is the summer element, goes down, and at the end of summer we have a short period of earth, where the energy of the fire element, where energy of summer returns for a moment of being earthed. And then from that period of earth, it comes out into autumn. And then we have the season of autumn, which in this case relates to the lungs, which have the emotion of sadness and grief, but also relates to our pioneering spirit, our desire for adventure and mastery over the world, and negatively turns up as judgment in our lives. But then the autumn comes back into having a short period of earth energy, where things are earthed again. And then from that earth, we come down into winter. And we spend our time in winter. Winter, after it's finished, which relates to the kidneys and the bladder, and has our willpower, okay? Gives us our ability to focus on tasks and ambitions and dreams. After we've been in winter, we have a short period in the earth element. From the earth element, and that period is where we get to digest, okay, the thoughts and emotions and feelings and earth. What's happened in winter? What happened in that season? The earth element then goes out to the wood element, which is spring. The spring then goes back into a period of time in the earth element, and then from that period, from spring after earth, we come up back into summer. And so the Chinese saw that this earth element was a very central, key aspect, where we went from summer into a moment of earth, out into autumn, from autumn back into the earth, from that earth period back into winter, from winter back to a moment of earth, and then from the earth out to spring, spring back into the earth, and then into summer. And we went through a transitional period through the course of the year. However, what is the most interesting aspect about this is that we can really apply this to the idea of our archetypes. Okay? Now, the main archetypes are king or royalty, right? Royalty. I'm going to say king or emperor. Sorry, it's just the way I've always said it, so do excuse me. That royal aspect, the emperor of our body, okay? The controlling leadership, okay? Then we have metal, which relates to the magician, okay? The magician is the master of knowledge and wisdom and desires to explore the world and get as much knowledge and mastery over things as possible. Then we have the water element, which is our willpower. It basically fuels our passion, okay? This relates to the lover energy, okay? Then out onto the side, with the wood, we have our warrior energy, okay? And warrior is about mastering of skills, making plans, and carrying them out, okay? Getting stuff done. Very full of action and power. Now, the warrior energy as an archetype is about pulling down old systems and creating new, which is why we want to learn and master what we're going to do, having our plans, having the direction that we're going in a real resolute fashion. We know what we want to do, we know how we're going to do it, so we go after it. That's the warrior energy. The king energy is that ability to lead ourselves and be benevolent, okay? When it's out of order, it relates to that tyranny and dictatorship and just an unhealthy way to lead. In the metal element, we have the magician, as I said. Now, the unhealthy part of the magician is judgment, okay? Where he really judges because he's got so much understanding of knowledge and wisdom. Then his discernment gets a bit confused when he's in an unhealthy state. And that can either internally focus, he becomes very judgmental and ridiculing of himself, or very judgmental and ridiculing of other people. The lover energy has to do with that willpower, the kidney's willpower of seeing our tasks through, getting things done, providing us with that passion and love that we need to achieve the things in our life. And as I said, wood is the warrior energy, which is about carrying things out, getting things done in our life, making plans and being resolute and having the action to carry those things through. But all this goes through man. So man actually sits in the middle, which is this earth element. And so what we get is we get the energy of the Shen, of the universe, coming down into man. So we're channeling king energy down into our body. Then we get the passion coming up from the earth, from the lover element, up into man. So our legs in our Qigong connect us through to this energy, have a lot to do with the lower dantian and the kidneys, this lower power source where we take our energy from the earth, okay? From that water element, from the nourishment of earth. Then we have the metal element, the magician. Now, he supplies all his pioneering spirit, desire to get out into the world and to master things, to understand things, to take command over the natural environment, so we can get those skills to produce in life. And then we get the wood energy of the liver, the warrior energy, coming in over on the right-hand side and coming in, which gives us our planning, our resolute desire to take action, to get things done. And these all come in to meet in the middle in man, in the earth element. This is where everything is infused within us. Okay? And so we should be taking our passion, our leadership, our dreams, our goals from nature, our destiny, okay? From heaven, from that leadership, from that almost like that Christ-like energy, okay? Downloading it from God, downloading it from the universe. This is met by the passion coming up from the ground, boom, meeting in the middle of our body. But then we have the skills of the lung energy on the left-hand side and the warrior energy on the right-hand side, all coming in to meet in the middle of our body and infuse. And then we stand in our Qigong. And so what Qigong is doing is actually teaching us to balance these energies, to use the warrior energy on our right, the magician energy on our left, to focus back in on ourselves whilst we're downloading the king energy from heaven or from God or the universe or whatever analogy you like to put on that, while pulling the water element from the kidneys, and the kidney meridian starts on the bottom of the foot. It's said to be where all the energy comes up into the body. We're using that to come up into our body to fuel all this passion and direct it. So we have the willpower, the fortitude to continue to get our things done. So what we're doing in Qigong is we're allowing our body's tensegrity system, the body's musculoskeletal system, to fall into balance, releasing the stagnations that impede these flowing or that show up unhealthily in our lives and cause negative emotions or negative situations or negative reactions to those situations to occur. And so the ancient Chinese sages used Qigong to balance out this process within themselves, to balance out how the archetypes play out. Now, as you know, the earth element in the middle is our ability to digest not only food, but in this case, thoughts and emotions, and have the attention to pay to our body to understand how to apply these different archetypical emotions or archetypical characteristics, and then display them out into the world with the correct intention. And this is really the job of man on earth, is to take in all these different elements of our being, digest them, and then make a decision on how to use that in the world. If we don't have these elements in balance, then we get stuck. And we can get stuck and emotionally fixated on different qualities of them, caught in fear. Or we can be caught in anxiety. We can be caught in depression. We can be addicted to pleasure. We can be apathetic about things and not have the self-control, the willpower to carry these out. We can be caught in sadness and grief. So all these emotions playing out, the idea of man is to be able to take action on clear intention, to play these out into the world. And if these are caught up in the body, that can't happen. If we have dysregulation in the metal element and we're too sad, this is going to feed through and give us more fear. Okay, it might overact on the wood and it might actually make us angry. So we can use the 5-element theory to understand how we can regulate these archetypical aspects of ourselves so that man in the middle, you, can control all these, regulate these emotions, so that you can manifest the things that you want in the world, taking direct download from the universe, from God, from the leadership or your destiny, having it fueled by the passion of the earth to meet in the middle, using your magician energy on the left to pull it in and focus on yourself, all the wisdom and skills that you need, and then using the warrior energy to make plans and carry them out. And so one of the Qigongs we're going to be learning first is how to do this main Qigong. Now this main Qigong is called Zhanzhuang. It is used in the Chinese, and they say that everything in the body is in its correct location. And it balances out your tensegrity. It teaches you how to remain focused. It teaches you how to ground. It softens the body while creating structural strength. And a lot of what the structural strength is about is creating frame. Frame is the ability of our body to maintain an open tensegrity, an open field, an open geometry. Whereas instead of being tight and our body being held in different ways of soreness, where the muscles have grabbed and caused tension and splintered, to open that up and allow us to be open and receptive and act like a clear conduit, so that the king energy can be fueled by the passion, have the skills and have the planning and direction to be able to push that into the world as a human. So what we're going to be doing in this Shamanic Qigong course is learning different Qigongs to regulate these different archetypical energies to balance out our system so that we can act like a clear conduit and project each of these archetypical aspects of ourselves out into the world. So they're no longer blocked by fear, by grief, by anger, by frustrations and judgments, so that you can actually free up your body and reprogram your physiology with the positive affirmations that allow these characteristics of your being to project out into the world and bring you the things that you dream and desire. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, you will find a link somewhere above or below. Wherever this video shows up, you'll find a link in this video that's going to take you through to a page where you can register for this course. This is a 10-week online program. So this doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can always join me. We are going to do a 10-week program where we go through each of the 5 elements. We do fire twice, and building this practice up from the fundamentals of standing Qigong to begin balancing our body and allowing us to learn about grounding and being centered and drawing these energies and breaking down the splinting patterns in our body, and then doing moving Qigongs each week, one that will relate to fire, one that will relate to earth, one that's going to relate to metal, one that's going to relate to water, one that's going to relate to wood, and then back to fire again to do the whole 6. And going through each of the emotions and each of the limiting beliefs and aspects, both physically, emotionally, and spiritually, that relate to those organs, finding out where your very specific blockages sit, and creating affirmations together and processes and concepts to help delete the negative emotions or the negative reactions, the negative spiritual connotations and belief systems of that organ structure, and using a Qigong which relates very specifically to those organ structures and acupuncture meridians and the physiology of your body, reprogramming in new belief systems, new emotions, new ways to react. So that these aren't only thought processes, but also physically related to your biology, to join mind and body back together in a very shamanic, very somatic process of the body. So these things manifest naturally. Because what we really want is we want the positive affirmations, the positive emotions to be infused into our physical reality so they become instinctual. Because if they're not instinctual, then they're not programmed into our unconscious mind. And the unconscious mind is the physical body. Let me say that again. The unconscious mind is the physical body. It's the thing that when you think, oh, I knew how to do that. Why didn't my body do what it was meant to do? Like, I knew I should have done that, but my body didn't respond fast enough. That is the unconscious aspect of our mind. That is the instinct that we should have to know to apply what we knew. So what the Chinese believe is one thing is knowing it, the second thing is to be able to act it. That is our ability to download wisdom into the body, and is literally what Qigong means. Working with our Qi to build merit, working with our Qi, our physical body, to download the instinct we need so that when things happen, we have the virtue of just acting upon it as an instinctual thing. This can't be done by merely thought alone. This needs to be programmed into our body by taking action. And so Qigong acts as a bridge to take us from that thought process into a physical process where these emotions and these physical archetypical aspects of our being can be literally reprogrammed directly into our physiology. So they become ingrained, they become instinctual responses. So when your unconscious mind knows this on a physical level, it is much more easily going to be able to reach out into the world and pull back the things that you wish to see manifest in your life. So if this interests you, again, I've got to leave in a moment because this video is getting too long. If this interests you, find the link associated with this video. Join in on this 10-week Shamanic Qigong journey. It's going to be absolutely incredible. I'm so excited to present it and to help you go deep into your body and unlock the negative emotions and reprogram yourself with the positive attributes, the merit and the virtue, and infuse this into your physical body so that you can manifest the life of your dreams. Guys, thank you so very much. My name is Nicholas Blort from QiFit, Qigong and Tai Chi Training. I really enjoy using Qigong to show people how they can change their physical body, delete poor health from their body, delete programs which cause specific emotions, delete spiritual aspects, and create themselves to be a clear conduit where they can reach out to the world, grab what they want, and infuse that directly into their physical existence. Guys, thank you so much. I hope you're in good health. Thank you.